There's a version of you that other people see every single day that you have never once met. He doesn't raise his voice, he doesn't try to dominate a room. He's not aggressive, not cold, not trying to scare anyone. And yet, people choose their words a little more carefully around him. Conversations get slightly more polite. Strangers don't approach him first. What if I told you that version isn't dangerous, or cold, or unlikable? It's just been misread your entire life and nobody ever bothered to tell you? Because that version of you is invisible to you. You only ever see yourself from the inside. Everyone else only ever sees you from the outside. And those two versions can be shockingly different people. I found this out at my own birthday dinner, which is, in hindsight, a deeply inconvenient place to have an identity crisis. My girlfriend at the time invited a few of her friends I hadn't met. 6 of us at a table, drinks coming out, normal night. About an hour in, one of them, a little tipsy, a little too honest, turned to me and said, "Okay, I have to say this. When she told us about you, I genuinely thought you'd be scary." I laughed. I asked why. She said, "I don't know, you just have this presence like you're always watching everything. It's kind of unsettling until you actually talk to you." I sat there confused because in my head, I was just a guy who overthinks everything and occasionally forgets why he walked into a room. But she wasn't done. She listed a few more things. My girlfriend started nodding along, clearly enjoying watching me realize something about myself in real time at my own birthday dinner. By the end of the night, I had a list. An uncomfortable, oddly flattering list. So here are the signs. The ones you're probably doing right now without any idea they're right landing the way they are. 1. You don't fill silence. Most people get uncomfortable the second a conversation pauses. They rush to fill it with something. Anything. But if you're someone who can just sit there, comfortable, unbothered, that stillness reads as control to everyone watching, even if internally you're just thinking about what to eat later. 2. You listen more than you talk. This feels like a virtue, and it is. But it has a side effect nobody warns you about. When you're quiet and observant in a group, people start wondering what you're actually thinking. And the human brain treats unknown as slightly dangerous by default. 3. Your face doesn't move much when you're thinking. Some people's faces are an open book. If yours isn't, if you have what's often called a resting neutral face, people genuinely cannot read what you're feeling. And not knowing what someone feels makes people quietly anxious, even mid-pleasant conversation. Here's the part I didn't expect to feel while making this list. Because somewhere around sign 3, I wasn't thinking about my birthday dinner anymore. I was thinking about being 11 years old, sitting 2 seats down from a kid who whispered to his friend that I was creepy, not because I'd done anything, but because I didn't smile enough and I didn't talk much, and apparently that was unsettling coming from an 11-year-old. I spent the next 15 years quietly believing something was wrong with me, that I was hard to like, that people kept a small, polite distance because some part of me wasn't right. But what if that was never actually true? What if the exact thing I spent over a decade silently apologizing for, the quiet, the stillness, the watching instead of talking, was never a flaw being punished? It was just a signal nobody around me had ever learned how to read. That's the part nobody tells you when you're 11. They don't explain that some kids are just early, that the same stillness that gets you whispered about at a lunch table is the exact thing that, 15 years later, makes a room go slightly quiet when you walk into it, for entirely different reasons. 4. You don't need to be liked in the moment. Most people, including past me, perform slightly for approval, laughing a little extra, agreeing a little too fast. But if you don't really need that validation, it shows. And the absence of that need reads as power, even when you're not trying to project any. 5. You ask short, direct questions. Why? What happened? These feel completely normal to you. But to someone used to longer, softer conversation, a short, direct question can feel like an interrogation, even when you're just genuinely curious. 6. You're comfortable being disagreed with. If someone challenges your opinion and you don't flinch, don't get defensive, don't need to win the point back, that calm is rare. Most people equate disagreement with conflict. But if you can hold a different opinion without it becoming personal, people read that composure as strength before they've even gotten to know you. Here's what nobody tells you about all 6 of these. They're not flaws. They're not things to apologize for. If anything, they're signs you developed something most people spend years trying to fake, actual internal stability. But the 11-year-old version of you didn't know that yet. He just thought he was wrong somehow, and he carried that quietly for a long time. I asked my girlfriend, much later, if she'd actually felt intimidated by me too at the start. She said, "For like the first 3 weeks. Then I realized you were paying attention, not judging anyone." Paying attention, not judging anyone. I think about that line more than I probably should, mostly because I wish someone had said it to me back at that lunch table. So, if you recognized even one of these while watching this, that's not something to fix. You're not too much. You're not cold. You're just operating on a frequency most people aren't used to standing next to. And the sooner you stop trying to shrink that down to make other people comfortable, the sooner you'll stop carrying a problem that was never actually yours to fix in the first place. I'm curious, did you recognize yourself in any of these signs? Maybe it was one, maybe it was all 6? Let me know in the comments. I'd genuinely love to hear your experience. Which one sounded most like you? Thanks for watching, and until next time.